Oh, let's see who's wanting to join this morning. Is that your toothbrush alarm?
Nope, it's my wake up alarm.
Oh. Joel, make sure you're awake.
I'm awake.
Good morning. Wait just a few more minutes. Get started about 9:05 this morning. yoga. And our live music this morning is coming from Joel Choked background, playing acoustic. Maybe he's gonna play with some of my gongs and bells this morning. Who knows? How are you today? Take a moment to check in with your heart. See where you're at. What mood are you in? I've been taking a lot of walks, and I've been seeing through social media that a lot of you have been taking walks as well. One of the things that we are able to still keep as a part of our daily routines, and what a beautiful way to connect to nature. And it has been a little bit eerie in the city taking these walks because the usual sounds I hear are not there, and it almost feels a little bit empty. It made me think about a book that I often share with my students at the college, Silence, by Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk. And the subtitle of this is The Power of Quiet in a World Full of Noise. I think it's an interesting time to reflect on a little bit of the lack of noise that there is, and then what that does to our minds, and how it interacts, what it lets us then tune into, to see and hear, things that maybe sometimes we try and hide from, or disconnect from. So I thought I would share one little passage, and every little bit of this book is so thoughtful and beautiful and poetic. But a section titled The Sound of No Sound. Silence is often described as the absence of sound, yet it's also a very powerful sound. I remember the winter of 2013 to 2014 was not so cold in France, but we heard it was very cold in North America. There were more than the usual number of snowstorms, and sometimes the temperature went below -20 degrees Celsius. I saw a picture of Niagara Falls at about its coldest. The falls had stopped falling. The water couldn't fall anymore. It was frozen. I saw that image and was very impressed. The cascade of water had stopped, together with the sound. About 40 years ago, I was in Chiang Mai, in the northeast of Thailand, in a retreat for young people. I was staying in a hut near a stony creek, and there was always the sound of water falling. I enjoyed breathing and washing my clothes and taking a nap on the big stones in the creek. Wherever I was, I heard that sound of water falling. Day and night, I heard the same sound. I looked at the bushes and trees around and thought, since their birth, they have heard this sound. Suppose this sound stopped, and for the first time they heard the no sound, silence. Just imagine that if you can. Suddenly the water stops flowing, and all these plants that from their birth have always, day and night, heard that cascading sound, hear it no longer. Think how surprised they would be to hear, for the first time in their lives, the sound of no sound. And he continues onward, describing the 5 true sounds. Because silence and true sounds connect, including the sounds of nature around us. Good morning, friends. I've just been sharing a passage from a book called Silence. Good morning, good morning. Hi, Mom, Nashar, Joe. Hi, Carrie. Good to have you here this morning. And contemplating the sound of no sound, perhaps you've been taking walks, like I've been taking walks, and Joel has been taking walks, maybe you've noticed a change in the sounds you hear on your walks. And if you haven't, maybe now today, take a moment, go for a walk and see what feels a little bit different. For me, it's been a complete absence of anything relating to humans. And then every so often there is suddenly a human. I hear children playing or somebody else walking, and all of a sudden that feels strange because I'm starting to get used to this lack of human sounds. No traffic or low traffic, when usually there's much more. And then I get to hear the birds, wind chimes, the sound of the wind through the leaves. It's quite beautiful. So, yesterday I asked if there were any requests for the types of movements that we do. This morning is a mindful movement practice, so I wonder if there are any areas of your body that you would like to particularly support this morning. And if there are, go ahead and type them into the comments. I can build a practice around those. Otherwise, I'll do what I'm inspired in the moment. And that's always okay too. And in my life, in-person classes, I generally like to take a little bit of feedback from whomever is participating so that we can customize the experience just a little bit more for you. So if you have something like your low back is feeling a little achy, or maybe your neck could use a little love, or your shoulders, hips. To our mats. We don't need any special props today. If you have a mat, that's wonderful. If not, a blanket spread out. Even the floor is good if you have a rug. If you happen to have a blanket, an extra blanket, that will be nice and cozy for our final resting, but it's not necessary. You can adjust the camera just a little bit. And then go ahead and make your way to your mat and lay down on your back. And once you get there, bend your knees and plant your feet on the mat. Begin to notice what you hear. Start by noticing what you hear in your space. What do you hear around you? Maybe you can hear an appliance like a refrigerator gently running. Or if there are other people in your home, footsteps, or talking. And see if you can expand that outward. Can you hear anything from outside of your space? Maybe there's a bird nearby. Maybe actually a vehicle driving by. And then come back into your space. And in your space, also hear the sound of music the guitar, the voice guiding you. Move in a little closer. Can you hear the sound of your own breath? The sound of your own breath. What about your beating heart? Can you hear it or simply sense it in this moment? The stillness of silence. And tune in yet deeper. What do you hear in your mind? What are your thoughts? Your feelings? The mind chatter happening? What exists for you in this moment? Past thinking thoughts, maybe future thinking thoughts. Many of us have future thinking thoughts going on with the unknown. And know that whatever is on your mind is a part of your experience. That it's okay and you don't have to judge it. And now, just for now, allow these thoughts to become a little bit more in the background so they're not at the front of your mind. And see if you can use your breath to guide yourself into this. So notice your breath. Notice the inhales and the exhales, the rise and fall, the expansion and release. Just for today, all you need is one breath at a time. And see if you can guide your breath to grow a little bit softer, a little bit smoother, and then maybe a little bit longer than the natural rhythm. A little softer, a little smoother, and a little bit longer than the natural rhythm. So your interpretation of what that means today. Letting the breath guide your movements. On your next exhale, very gently root your low back against the mat. And then as you inhale, slowly peel the low back up, arching the back. Keep your glutes planted, so we're just lifting the ribs up. Exhales to glue the low back flat against the mat. Inhales, reversing this, build a little bridge. Now the pace of your breath, moving back and forth, each exhale, drawing the low back down. Each inhale, letting the ribs expand upward and outward. Breathing softly and smoothly and a little bit longer than the natural rhythm. Notice where you feel this movement today. Notice if your shoulder blades slightly shrug on your mat, or maybe your chin slightly wobbles. Let it if it does. Maybe notice movement in the back of your head. Do you feel any changes in your feet, any shifts from when you rise to when you sink? Wherever you are, rise one more time, and then let the low back come back to its neutral position. And open your arms out to a T, palms facing up. And let your arms be very connected to the floor in this moment. So much so that when you go to turn a palm, you don't lift the arm up to do so. You roll it on the floor. So with your next exhale, roll the right arm, turning it so that the right palm faces the floor. And then when you inhale, roll it back so the right palm faces upward again. And you do this slowly. When you exhale, this time the left palm will turn to face the floor. As you inhale, roll it back. The back of the hand rests on the earth. Following your breath now. One palm turns at a time, the other stays face up. And think of this as a wash rag gently being wrung out. You might notice a little movement into the elbow. And maybe it would feel good to let more of the arm rotate so that when you turn a palm, you feel the shoulder blade shift. And maybe as you turn a palm down, you let it tip up onto its thumb edge so the pinky lifts up off of the floor. Then you inhale and everything comes back down to center. Exhale, the other arm turns, rolls onto the thumb edge, the pinky lifts up. Inhales to unwind. Maybe as one palm rolls to turn toward the floor and lifts up, the other palm still faces up but lifts the pinky edge up too. Inhales to center. Exhales, one palm turns. And the next time you turn a palm to face the earth, feel free to shift the gaze to the opposite side. So if you're turning the right palm down, shift your gaze, turn your head to the left. You'll inhale and unwind everything back to center so slowly. Exhale, the gaze will shift right as the left palm turns toward the floor. Continuing at your pace, know that you can leave the head turns out. Give yourself permission to do what serves you this morning. Notice how it's feeling. And once again, be aware of the sounds in silence. what you hear, the voice guiding you, music, any sounds of nature. And the next time one palm turns to face the floor, let the knees tip in the opposite direction of your gaze. So if your right hand turns down, your knees tip toward the down, turn your gaze goes toward the left. Inhales back to center. Exhales. When your left palm turns down, the knees float toward the left and the gaze goes toward the right. And if you go the opposite way, that's okay too. You can think of your whole body now like a wash rag, gently being twisted out of anything excess, anything that you don't need right now. So if you notice a lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts, imagine those thoughts like little droplets of water and you're gently squeezing them out of your wash rag body. Breathing softer and smoother and a little bit longer. Taking one or two more twists. Meeting back at center. Walking the feet as wide as the mat and letting the knees tip toward one another. Breathing softer, smoother, and a little bit longer. Now, slowly make your way onto your side so that you are still facing your screen. So it doesn't matter if it's the right or left side, facing the screen so you can see. And then if you have a blanket, have your blanket under your head to support you. If you don't, roll up your mat so that it can offer a little support. Thank you, honey. And then reach both of your arms out in front of you, stacking the top hand on the bottom hand. And the knees here can be bent and maybe out in front of the hips, and the feet are just kind of tucked back and under. Now cue here, top hand versus bottom. The bottom arm is going to rest here. And your top hand, reach it as far forward, sliding the fingertips on the floor. Reach, reach, reach. Feel your shoulder blade kind of sliding. And then gently start to draw that top hand back toward you. And draw the top fingers across the bottom palm, the bottom wrist, the forearm now. Notice your top elbow is bending. Draw your top fingers across the bottom elbow now. And upper arm to the shoulder. Now your elbow might be pointing toward the ceiling. Keep breathing here and draw your top fingers across your collarbones. until your top hand reaches the same side shoulder, and it might be on it or a little away from it. Take an inhale here. And as you're ready to exhale, dip the elbow behind you as far as what feels good, as if you were going to turn your chest open to the ceiling. And your head might turn here so that you're facing the ceiling again, but keep your legs over to the side. And then when you're ready, we'll unwind, and very slowly that top hand will slide back across the collarbones to the bottom arm, shoulder, upper arm, elbow, forearm, and wrist until the palms meet again. We'll repeat that now. So reach that top arm, slide it ahead, and then retract it back toward, across the bottom palm, wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, and shoulder, across the chest and collarbone. Inhale at the top, and exhale as you dip that elbow back. Breathe here. And when you're ready, a slow unwind. Move softly and slowly like your breath. And notice everything about this movement. Part of the mindfulness is giving ourselves this opportunity to move slow. And you might notice your thoughts or judgments coming up for you. Be in that. Notice what's there and know that it's okay. Maybe frustration or wanting to move a little quicker, but see if you can give yourself permission to move slowly. And now move at your own pace, your own breath. You know what we're doing now. Sliding the top arm. And this time when you tip that top elbow back behind you, if you want, you can open that arm all the way up as if you were going to bring the back of that hand to the floor. Your gaze can shift up toward the ceiling. And you might notice you can lift your bottom shoulder up slightly and set it back down, and you might find a little more space. Breathing. You can choose to flow or pause here. So what serves you in this moment? Check in. If you decide to flow, bend that top arm elbow, bringing the hand back to the top shoulder, and then flow. It won't harm you if you do it a different way. It's just a practice. So moving at your pace now. Keep breathing and flowing. Maybe take one more. And the next time you're curled up on your side, pausing there. You can bend both elbows and bring the hands up next to the cheek if you like. Breathing softly, smoothly, a little bit longer than the natural rhythm. Now gently bring your top hand to the floor or the mat. And then use that arm and the bottom arm to press yourself up to seated. We'll be here for just a moment. Might sit crisscross or send the legs forward or bent knees. And you bring the hands onto the legs and start to circle the torso. You can exhale forward and inhale back, or just breathe softer and smoother, a little bit longer than the natural rhythm. And when you're ready, circle the opposite direction. And come back to center. Good. Hands on the knees. Scoop the belly back and lean back. Sit back on your sits bones and tuck chin toward chest. And then when you inhale, slowly rise up. Let the hands slide up your thighs to the crevice of where your thigh bone meets your hip. Lift your chin up. Bring the heart forward. Exhale, rounding in, scooping the belly back, lean back. Inhales, reversing this, slide the hands up the thighs, squeeze the elbows back. Feel your shoulder blades hugging towards one another. And follow your breath several more times. See where you feel this morning. What do you notice with the spine, or maybe the back of the neck, shoulders, a combination? What do you sense? How's your breathing? Knee back at center in the next breath or two. Now, take the blanket if you have a blanket. We're going to switch it to what was the bottom of the mat. And we're doing this today just so you can continue to face the camera, so your back's not to it if you want to be able to watch the screen. And then slowly laying down on that opposite side. If you didn't have a blanket, you can curl up the back of your mat and tuck it in under your head. Just something to give your head and neck a little support. Your bottom arm and top arm will stack. Your knees will come out in front of you. The feet kind of just tuck back. And just take a moment to notice how this feels resting on this side. Similarities or differences from the other side. We're going to do the same movements, and I'll cue the first round and then let you continue to flow at your pace. So that top hand, slide it as far forward as it wants to reach, and then bring it back toward your bottom palm, across the palm and wrist, the forearm and elbow, the upper arm to the bottom shoulder, across the chest until the top hand reaches the top shoulder. Inhale. And as you exhale, tip that elbow back behind you. Maybe shift your gaze toward the ceiling, keeping your knees to the side, dipping your top elbow back toward the earth. Unwinding now, and letting the hand travel back across the chest, all the way down the bottom arm until the palms meet. And as you're ready, reaching and then tracing that line across the bottom arm. Be and breathe. Continue to flow at your pace. Maybe after the second or third time, you'll extend that top arm open if you want. You can rest in the open twist, or you can invite yourself to continue flowing. Ask yourself what feels right for you here and now. It can be different than the other side or another day. Be with what is there. Breathing softly, smoothly, a little bit longer now. Flowing through one more time, or pausing in the open position for the next 2 breaths. And we'll eventually make our way back onto our side. The elbows can bend and the hands can come up by the cheek. Breathing softer and smoother, a little bit longer now. That bottom arm and top arm, pressing yourself up to seated once again. You can shift the blanket back up to the top of the mat if you like. And find a comfortable seat. You can also sit on that blanket too. Bring the hands down by the hips, palms forward, and as you inhale, reach the hands up and maybe look up. As you exhale, bring the hands through the midline, palms together. Bring your hands all the way down to the heart. As you inhale, drop the arms down by the hips, reaching up, gaze up. Exhale, palms connect and float back down to the center of your heart. 2 more times. Right hand over to the left leg. The left hand reaching it out behind you, beginning to turn the chest open, sitting up nice on the sits bone. Release that left hand to the floor behind you, maybe up on your fingertips. Take an inhale. Then as you exhale, maybe moving a little more into that twist. Think of the chest twisting versus the low back here. And just a soft twist without force. Breathing. On your next inhale, sweep both arms up back to center. Twist the opposite way. Let your hands float down. So your left hand will land on that right. The right hand will be behind you. Find a tall seat here. We're on the sits bones versus rounding back. Breathe. One more time. Inhale to center. Exhale, twisting to the opposite side. Inhale, leg. Exhale, softness. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist once more. Breathing getting softer, smoother, a little bit longer. Letting your next inhale unwind you back to center. Hands cup the knees and stir the midsection once again. Stir one way and then the other. And back to center, and we'll make our way onto our stomachs now. So however you want to get there. Reaching the arms straight out in front of you. Spread the fingers and plant the tops of the feet against the floor. And feel a little engagement in the kneecaps. How can you lift your kneecaps? So hug your muscles against the bones of your upper legs. And think about sending your hip bones a little bit more into the earth. Lift your head and heart up now. Keep pressing the feet down, and as you lift the head and heart up, the hands might slide towards you a little bit. Keep the arms straight. Exhale, slowly lower down. The chin or forehead can touch the mat. Inhale, zip up, hug the muscles to the bones, lift head and heart. Exhale, floating back down. Inhales to rise. Exhales back down. Now you can continue here, or you can slide your hands down in line with your shoulders. Hug the elbows in towards your sides. Your palms stay lifted up off the floor. On the next inhale, we all rise. Hug the muscles to the bones. Press the feet into the floor. Exhale as we lower. Inhales, rise. Exhale, lower. One more. We're going to rise and hold wherever we are. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Arms can be long or hands can be tucked back by the shoulders. Elbows hugged into the ribs, palms not touching the floor. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I'll send the arms down by the hips. Keep lifted. And then slowly lower down and turn to rest on a cheek, whichever cheek. If you're wearing glasses, you can take your glasses off here so that they're not pressing into the bridge of your nose. Let your shoulders sink forward by bending your elbows as much as you need. Let the shoulders soften. The hands can be by the hips. You could even tuck them in underneath of the hips if it feels good. Notice your breath here. With the front side of your body against the earth. Feel that softer, smoother breath. The rise and fall. The in and out. Slowly lift your head up and turn it to the opposite cheek. Lower it again. Breathing softly, smoothly. A little bit longer now. Shift the gaze to center. And bring your hands up in line with your shoulders. Press the palms into the mat and lift yourself up onto hands and knees. Then take the knees wide. Let the toes come toward one another and sink the hips toward the heels. You can walk your hands forward and bring the forehead to the mat, or you could stack your hands and bring your forehead to your hands for a child's pose. Puppy pose here is another option. For that, the knees will stay under the hips. The hands will walk forward and you'll sink the heart toward the floor. Hips stay stacked. Forehead reaches toward the earth here. Notice the breath here. Notice where you feel it. Along the front side. Maybe along the ribs. Maybe you feel it around the spine, the back side of the body. Slowly walk both hands to the right and even off of the right side of the mat. And stack the right hand on top of the left. And then gently think of sinking your hips a little bit more toward the left. And then let your forehead rest on an arm or the floor. Breathe into the left side of the body. Slowly come back to center. And then walk back both hands over to the left side. This time the left hand stacks on the right. And think of sinking the hips a little bit more toward the right. Make your way back to center now. Another breath here. And then slowly rising up, hands and knees. And then make your way to your final resting on your back. You can bring a blanket in to support the head and neck. You can send the legs long, or you can keep the knees bent, planting the feet on the mat. And today, during your final resting, you can drift and dream. Or if you want, you can practice with me a breathing meditation. And for this, I'll share some words. You can just follow the guidance of the words being offered. Thank you everyone for joining. Make yourself comfortable. Give yourself any adjustments you need, maybe swaying the knees a little bit or shrugging the shoulders. Notice your breath. Breathing softly, smoothly, a little bit longer now. And breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Breathing in, my breath grows deep. Breathing out, my breath grows long. Breathing in, aware of my body. Breathing out, I calm my body. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I enjoy the present moment. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing deep, breathing slow, breathing awareness of body, breathing calming, breathing smiling, breathing releasing. Breathing, present moment. Breathing, enjoying. In, out. Deep, slow. Awareness, calming. Smile, release, present, enjoy. Gently begin to invite yourself back to this space with gentle movement or a stretch, like you're just waking up in the morning. And then take your time on your back or curl up on your side. Take a couple more deep breaths wherever you are and slowly make your way to seated. when we'll meet together with hands at the heart. Take a moment to reflect on how this practice has supported you. And perhaps consider something you would like to take with you from this practice and something you feel ready to leave behind. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining myself, for joining Joel. Thank you for the beautiful music. May you have peaceful days. May you find ways to connect to yourself and to others during this time. Sending you lots of love from our hearts to yours. Have a wonderful day. My next session will be on Sunday. With a Yoga Nidra, which is a deep guided meditation and sound bath. So ambient tones and guided meditation. So feel free to join me there or to tune in after the live anytime. They're posted on the Facebook page as well as on YouTube. Bye everyone. Thank you again.